Minneapolis, 5th overall as a head coach. Last year, unfortunately, they were really suffering and struggling. Their worst record in 83 years, but he's got a young team and an experienced team.
He really does, and I love the way he handled the crisis management of the season, the off-season, and all of a sudden, they're playing an exciting brand of basketball in the barn.
5th time in the last 10 years these teams face each other in their respective Big Ten openers. Tom Izzo 12-9 overall in conference openers, but get this, Brant, just 5-8 away from the Breslin Center, and especially coming into tonight with the injury problems from Michigan State and the hot start, 6 straight wins for Minnesota. This is not a walkover for the Spartans, not by any stretch.
We're in conference play, and winning on the road in conference play is extremely difficult no matter who you are.
Second straight game, the Spartans will be starting 3 freshmen. Fran told you all about Ward already. He's joined by the point guard Cassius Winston and Joshua Langford, number 3 in Spartan, or number 1 in Spartan Green. Your officials tonight: Gene Steratore, Tom Eads, Teddy Valentine. It's the home gold with the maroon trim for the Golden Gophers and the road green for the Spartans. And we're underway, and the Spartans control the opening tip.
One thing I think Tom Izzo is going to try to do tonight is get Matt McQuaid going, and there's a good example.
They worked on that a lot in practice, working on getting McQuaid's confidence up.
No question about it. It's the first time all year I've seen the team work on a jump ball at a shoot-around. They got the tap, and they got the play they wanted.
Inside the Ward, surrounded by the Gophers defense.
Very, very good backcourt for the Gophers, maturing.
And there's Reggie Lynch getting his first touch of the game, and he's immediately fouled by number 30, Matt Van Dyke.
Well, they do not have, the Spartans, a lot of depth up front. Besides the freshman Ward, they're playing 2 former walk-ons.
There's number 2 in gold, Nate Mason, leading scorer on this team, averaging 13.2 coming in. What do the Gophers like to do offensively?
A lot of set plays, a lot of screen and roll, spread you out.
Try to get it inside, and they turn it over. Here comes Cassius Winston, averaging 9 assists in his last 5. And there's Ward with the first 2 of the game.
Well, these 2 freshmen have been outstanding. Nick Ward has improved dramatically from the minute he stepped on the campus at East Lansing.
There's Dupree McBrayer with the prayer. Winston, and the foul is going to go on Mason.
Nick Ward came to campus about 40 pounds heavier than he is right here. Take a look. Look at this. Good quick jump, good finish inside, and 17 points, as we mentioned, over the last 5 games, including that monster game against Oakland, 25, right before Christmas break.
There's Langford, number 1, the other freshman. Nice look inside. Ward turns, misses, and Jordan Murphy clears for Minnesota. Murphy bodied up, and Arns is whistled for the foul. 0 in green, Kyle Arns, the 6'5" sophomore out of Versailles, Ohio.
Jordan Murphy, we've seen this time and time again in college basketball, an undersized 4-man who does a lot of his dirty work driving to the basket.
He's one of those youngsters Richard Pitino has. He's only a sophomore, but he played a lot last year. Here's McBrayer.
Oh, that's
nice move off the left. Ward. Turnover. Here's the freshman Coffey. And good hands by Winston.
We had a great angle, didn't we? That should have been a bounce pass, freshman. Coffey tried to thread the needle. A bounce pass was called for there.
Pinned against the board by Murphy. No call, and then there is a call. Gene Steratore calls traveling on the Gophers. Oh, we talked about what Minnesota likes to do offensively. What about Tom Izzo?
Tom Izzo has always been a set play guy. In fact, the joke around the Big Ten is they've been running the same plays for 20 years. But he did tell us that they want to go inside and establish Ward. And also, we saw early that they want to get Matt McQuaid, the sophomore shooter, some really good looks if they can.
Langford elbow jumper's good. Joshua Langford, a 6'5" freshman out of Huntsville, Alabama.
Two-time Gatorade Player of the Year of the state of Alabama.
He's one of those few players who's actually won 5 Player of the Year awards because he won it in 8th grade. And Lynch goes up and is fouled and will go to the line. Reggie Lynch, a 6'10" redshirt junior out of Minnesota, but he transferred over from Illinois State, and he's been a revelation. Got himself into some trouble and some injury trouble as well, but this year they're really counting on him a lot, and he's proving, defensively especially, to be a big star for them.
And you saw him play for the Redbirds, and the one thing he's always been able to do is be a shot blocker and rim protector.
5th in the nation in blocks coming into tonight, 3.3 a game for Reggie Lynch. Missed the first free throw, a 57% free throw shooter. And he knocks the second one down.
Minnesota is 98% man-to-man. Every now and then they'll throw a little bit of 2-2-1 pressure, a little zone, but they've been very good in their half-court man defense this season.
Number 14, Aaron Harris, has checked in for Tom Izzo. See if he gets an early touch. There he is with the ball, guarded by McBrayer. And that's the first swat of the game by Reggie Lynch. McBrayer, wild shot again, no good. Here comes Cassius Winston on the break. Leaves it, Harris, no. The follow is good by Arms.
Winston really pushes it. Think about what he's done over the last 5 games. Almost 12 points and 9 assists in the absence of Miles Bridges.
Talk about high praise. Tom Izzo said he may be the best passer come through Michigan State since one Magic Johnson. Gophers and Spartans trading baskets.
I think on the road you have to push it if you're Michigan State and try to get some easy ones.
Set shot, no good from Winston, and Murphy clears. Nearly 4 minutes gone by. We've seen 3 Big Ten contests earlier today. They were all blowouts. We don't expect that here tonight, Fran.
No, I don't think so. And it's a really important game for the Gophers, who need to win their home games this season.
Mason for 3. And we got an offensive foul on the Spartans. We're going the other way. Richard Pitino has to like what he's seeing in the early going.
Oh, he does, and he loves that maturing backcourt. McBrayer's gone to the rim, and Nate Mason, the junior out of Decatur, Georgia, growing up on the fly.
Seems like we always follow year in, year out is how does the officiating change on conference play?
It's a good point. Absolutely. You know, freedom of movement, the whole issue with the verticality cone in the preseason. I think by and large officiating has been solid over the course of the non-conference, but you're right. Players need to adjust.
Hakeem Springs, 0 and gold, is checked in for the first time, and a foul is called. That's that freedom of movement that we were just talking about.
Exactly. And that's the 5th team foul for Michigan State already.
Something Tom Izzo was very wary of.
And Minnesota has gone 9 or 10 deep, all of the non-conference race.
Here's Murphy working on Arms. And a travel called on Jordan Murphy. Empty possession for the Gophers, who start this game 4 for 5 from the field compared to the Spartans, shooting only 3 for 11.
I think this is a good opportunity right here to go inside to Nick Ward, who has really become an outstanding low post scorer.
Here's Harris off the curl. Too strong. And Bakari Konate comes away with it.
Konate and, offensive foul.
Konate clearing out the freshman Ward.
Ward was established. Konate barreled him over, and I was about to say that Konate and Tum Tum Nairn Spartans point guard, high school teammates at Sunrise Christian. They know each other well.
That's right, from Kansas.
In fact, Minnesota recruited Nairn very hard.
Here's Nairn with the ball, 11 and green.
Well, there's another little contact inside. Watch out.
Here's Coffey. And a good foul by Aaron Harris. That'll send the freshman Amir Coffey to the line.
Among the freshmen in the country, this guy hasn't maybe gotten the attention that some of the Blue Bloods have gotten, but the local product from Hopkins High School has had a great impact on this program, Rich, and not just because of his scoring. He's a complete player and a terrific team player.
This is the first one, Mr. Basketball Minnesota as a high school senior, and of course he's got gold and maroon in his bloodlines. His dad Richard played for Clem Haskins back in 1986 to 90. There he is in the stands, and obviously an NBA player as well.
That's right, 1 year with the T-Wolves. I was a Buckeye assistant coach back in the late 80s when Richard played here in the barn.
Richard was a banger. Amir, not so much.
No, undersized four-man, 6'6", played inside. His son, much more finesse. See how much attention that McQuaid is getting because they know he can shoot it.
Ward double teamed. 5 on the shot clock. Nairn. And Valentine calls a foul underneath, and it's going to go against Minnesota.
Well, let me just say this. That should be Kanate's third foul because he got away with one the previous possession before the timeout. But watch the action inside. Watch Kanate. He's just going to grab, and that's a very easy call to make. And the junior's got to know better. He's played a lot of basketball for Richard Pitino.
So Kanate goes to the bench, and Lynch checks back in.
With all due respect to Kanate, that is not a downgrade going to the bench right now. He has not played as much as he did his first couple of years because of this depth.
A little over 6 minutes gone by. It's an 11-6 Minnesota lead. Good defense by Springs. Loose ball. Lynch comes away with it. Pull up for 3. Maybe a little early in the shot clock, Frank.
Well, I think when you're feeling it at home, Richard Pitino's not going to mind that. And Nate Mason is a junior now, playing with great confidence.
There's Tum Tum Nairn running the show for Tom Izzo, one of the great leaders in college basketball. Ellis, 10 on the shot clock for Sparty.
High pick and roll here.
Now 5 to shoot. McQuaid, NBA range. In and out. Ward the offensive rebound. And Lynch comes away with it. Kick out for 3. And the foul's going to go on Minnesota. Good job on the boards by Alvin Ellis. Well, coming up Wednesday, we have 3 bowl games for you on ESPN. It starts at 2 Eastern with the New Era Pinstripe Bowl from Yankee Stadium between number 23 Pittsburgh and the Big Ten's Northwestern Wildcats. Then at 5:30, the Russell Athletic Bowl with number 16 West Virginia and Miami. And then we wrap up the day at 9 with the Advocare V100 Texas Bowl, Texas A&M and Kansas State.
How about Chris Collins' Wildcats? They got 9th in a row today, a sizable win in State College.
Good hands by Coffey, almost turned it over.
A lot of dribbling right now by Michigan State, and Minnesota's half-court defense active.
Spin to the left. Ward got it up on the glass and got fouled. He'll go to the line for the first time tonight.
Let me tell you something that Nick Ward is doing that he's got to do a better job. He's going to get fouled here, but the last 3 shots he's taken, his eyes have not been on the rim. A little better there, but the 2 he missed, Rich, he shot the ball without locating the rim, and young big guys have a tendency to do that.
There's the left-hander, knocks it down. Just a 56% free throw shooter, so that's gravy for Tom Izzo when he steps to the line. Murphy back in for Pitino's club.
This young man out of Columbus, Ohio, and you think of the recent years, the Jared Sollingers, the Trey Burks. Columbus producing Jay Sean Tate from Ohio State. A lot of good basketball coming out of the state capitol.
Blocked by Ward. Let's see if defense turns to offense for Michigan State. And Ward got in the way of the Winston pass. Numbers for the Gophers. And one.
Well, you're right, Rich. Watch Cassius Winston. He's going to hit Ward, who doesn't even know he's there. And that's a turnover that leads to an opportunity for three. And you know, we talked about Nate Mason. How about this kid, Dupree McBrayer out of New York City? These guys, a sophomore and a junior, really maturing in the non-conference this season.
And maybe I'm just saying this because I'm a lefty myself, but 4 lefties on this Minnesota roster, that's an oddity.
Well, Richard Pitino can use that in recruiting, right? I'm great at coaching lefties. And if you're a righty, I can make you a lefty.
Right. And if you're amphibious, even better.
Absolutely.
As Yogi Berra would say.
And I'll teach you to swim.
Here's Ellis. Spot up. Knocked down.
Well, that's big, and he's coming off a really good game against Oakland. Alvin Ellis, the senior out of Chicago.
Ellis originally signed with Minnesota, but was released after Tubby Smith left to go take over the head coaching job in Memphis. 11.5 to go in the first half. Minnesota up 4, and they add to it. Jordan Murphy will have a chance at a 3-point play. 11:28 to go. Minnesota a 6-point lead, and we will answer the question, why is this year different for the Golden Gophers when we come back?
Curry, and then of course Amir Coffey, the top 40 recruit. It's been outstanding for him.
Haven't seen Curry yet. Number 42 in gold, Michael Hurt has checked in for the first time, and Murphy can't complete the 3-point play. There's McQuaid on the other end.
Remember, Rich, 10 teams in the conference are going into conference play with 10 wins, but everybody's 10 wins is a little bit different because of the schedule.
Coach Pitino quick to point out their conference schedule, non-conference rather, not a cupcake schedule. They have a top 30 strength of schedule going on.
That's right. They had some good wins over Vanderbilt, Arkansas, St. John's.
3 to shoot. Winston. The teardrop, no. And the aforementioned Eric Curry, seeing his first action, immediately turns it over. Freshman mistake. Michigan State just 4 for 18 from the field in the first half. Ten on the shot clock. Nice look inside. Goins back out to McQuaid. He's going to have to fire.
Didn't get
it up.
What Minnesota is doing, because Winston is only 6 feet tall, they're smothering with hard hedges in the pick and roll, and it's hard for him to see over the help. He's got to attack the big man at the point of the screen, draw a foul, or get into the rim. But great defense by the Gophers.
Springs baseline. Almost had a chance at another 3-point play. Amir Springs, a graduate student, started his career in Northern Illinois, spent time at Milwaukee as well, now here. And high praise for him that his teammates named him a captain on this team despite only being with this team for a few months.
And he's given you 9 points a game off the bench. I think he came here thinking he might be a starter, but he's accepted a great role. And again, you say, why is this team better? As Matt McQuaid gets a little coaching, they're better because they're talented and they're deeper.
Springs 1 for 2, but so far it's not been an exactly sterling performance from the free throw line for Minnesota. They could have a much bigger lead than they have right now, which is 7.
Michigan State struggling to score right now because they really don't have a go-to scorer on the floor.
And a traveling violation called on one of the youngsters, Josh Langford. And you could see with this team struggling to score only 9 points with 9:49 to go, Fran, why they miss Miles Bridges so much.
Well, there's no question. I mean, he's an elite player. He's their leading scorer. And when he leaves, sure, some of these guys have stepped up.
Offensive foul on Minnesota. We're going the other way.
There you see Miles Bridges, top 40 recruit, one of the best freshmen in the country.
4 times he scored 20 points in a Spartans game, and those were coming against elite opponents. He'll be back next week.
If you're Tom Izzo, right, has another travel. Huh?
That's the 7th Spartans turnover.
Now this is survival time for Tom Izzo, not only tonight, but just to get through this week. With Northwestern coming in on Saturday until they get Bridges back.
And even with Miles Bridges on the floor, this is a much more turnover-prone team than Tom Izzo's used to have. Wild shot by McBrayer, no good.
See Curry now on Winston. Look how packed in the gold jerseys are. Basically, everybody's inside the three-point line.
Ellis, got it. Maybe that'll open things up.
And it's going to need to, because what Minnesota's doing and what they've done all year, you know, they chart deflections. They're only averaging 21 deflections a game, in part because it's not a pressure team. It's a pack team.
McBrayer. Boy, Dupree McBrayer is not shy about taking it to the rack.
Now watch this. Look at all the jerseys inside the three-point line, and a late challenge by Springs. And even that three is a low percentage three because of the contest of the shot. This team is not only without Miles Bridges, but it lost Gavin Schilling and Ben Carter, two key guys up front before the season.
Carter, the transfer from UNLV. Gavin Schilling obviously played a big role on last year's team that at one point was ranked #1 in the country.
Exactly. And a guy I thought was getting better and better every year. Both are recovering from knee injuries, be back next year. Carter's going to petition for a 6th season. There's an open three.
Ellis, again.
Yep. Now that was an open three. The contest was late.
Second three of the night for Alvin Ellis, who has 8 to lead the Spartans. And Michigan State can tie with a 3. Instead, they turn it over. Mason the lob. Coffey caught it in midair. Another timeout to take, 7:59 to go in the first half. Minnesota up by 5, and we'll tell you why this year is markedly different for Tom Izzo's club.
I like this freshman class. 43 points among the 4 of them, 88 minutes a game. You know, a lot of people think Miles Bridges is going to be a one and done. He's kind of a tweener. He's in that like top 20 mock draft mode right now. The other 3 are going to be sensational over 4 years, and who knows, we might see Bridges back a second year. This team will be loaded a year from now, but it doesn't help Tom Izzo. He's going to have to really coach the group he's got.
5 on the shot clock. Coffey missed the bunny. I think he was a little surprised he was that wide open.
Absolutely. Well, the thing about this, even this game right now, Tom Izzo's got to be happy with. He's got 9 turnovers, and there you see the highest scoring freshman in the Izzo era. He's got 2 of them right now.
Yeah.
But if you're Izzo, you got to be happy with the fact that you're shooting 30%. You've turned it over 9 times, and you're only down 5 points.
And you've committed 11 fouls, and that was the #1 thing he said. We got to stay out of foul trouble against this team. Here's Van Dyke at the line. Knocks down the first. Matt Van Dyke, a 6'5" redshirt senior from Imlay City, Michigan. Really one of those Spartans who's forced into duty with all these injuries.
Absolutely. He was terrific against Oakland with 5 offensive rebounds. And goes to show you that, you know, Goins, former walk-on, Van Dyke, they have to play prominent roles right now.
Inside Williams Arena, the Barn. Rich Hollenberg, Fran Fraschilla, wrapping up a night of Big Ten openers. There was a nice take by Mason.
Ugh. Great use of the window.
Six-point Minnesota lead, 7 minutes to go in the first. Gophers looking to win their 7th straight game and start 13-1, but most importantly, 1-0 in conference play. There's a turnover. Mason. Met at the rim by Ellis, no whistle. It's going to stay Minnesota ball.
Well, Mason's been in attack mode all night. Previous play. Take a look. Watch him use the window here. This ball's going to go way high. Little proper hand development, PhD. And then here's what happened. See, Ellis thinks that Mason used the left arm to ward off. A lot of contact on that play. And I think he had a point.
Mason thought about the three. Touch off the glass, no. Try to follow and got fouled. That's the 12th Spartans foul.
How about Mason? He misses the floater, but his momentum took him to the other side of the backboard where he came up with the loose change.
I'll tell you what, this is one of my favorite statistics in college basketball, Franny. Minnesota goes to the line and has made 239 free throws coming in. Their opponents have only shot 231.
Love that, and that's a stat that coaches love. It emphasizes aggressiveness, attacking the basket. I used to have a rule with my team. If we miss 2 jumpers in a row, now it might change if a guy was a great three-point shooter, but if we miss 2 jumpers in a row, the 3rd possession down the court, we want to go inside.
Touch the paint.
Yep. We adjusted it for great shooters. Chris Mullen misses 2 in a row. We're going to let him keep shooting it. But I didn't want to be reliant on jump shots, and when you go inside, you get a chance to score at the foul line.
Mully would have liked this Minnesota team, the left-hander. Here's Ward.
Good double team.
Spins right and had it blocked from behind by Curry. Cutting inside again. Tom Izzo has a lot of coaching to do with these young Spartan pups. They're down 10, 6 minutes to go.
Has got to love this start to his team inside the Barn on the opening night of the Big Ten season. I'll tell you what I love about Minnesota. They're not relying on jump shots. They are attacking Michigan State off the bounce.
And if you're a Minnesota fan watching this, your football team's up 10-6 on Washington State. That would be a major upset. That's in the Holiday Bowl in the 3rd quarter. Here inside the Barn, the Golden Gophers are in the midst of an 8-1 run over the last 2+ minutes, and we'll have a chance to add to that.
When Ward is not in the game, it becomes a jump shooting team for Tom Izzo. The problem is Minnesota's half-court defense has not only been outstanding, they are contesting jump shots.
Tom Izzo just 5-8 in road Big Ten openers.
Let me tell you something. I'd never heard of Eric Curry until I started watching on tape, the freshman from Memphis.
You're really high on him.
I don't know how much he's going to play tonight. This kid's got a great future because he's got a terrific motor. He's what we call an energy big. He'll rebound, he'll block some shots, and got a bright future in this league.
Largest lead of the game for Minnesota, a dozen in the midst of a 10-1 run.
Problem with getting into Ward now is Minnesota is double teaming every time he gets it inside.
And when you look at who they have on the floor, they don't have a lot of other offensive options.
They really don't. Bridges was a possession user. He could make shots, give it up.
Tum Tum Nairn has his first two of the night with that layup from the left side. Here's Mason working on Nairn. Pull up Jay. No. Arns the rebound. When he's healthy, Nairn is a blur from 94 feet.
I totally agree. One of the fastest players in the country. Last year it was plantar fasciitis. He's nursing another foot injury now. That's good defense inside by Curry.
8 on the shot clock. 2 to shoot. Nairn hoists it. Short. Michigan State's second to last in the conference coming in points per game, and you're seeing evidence of that tonight. Foul's going to go on Van Dyke, and it's going to be more free throws for the Gophers.
You feel the air of confidence the Gophers are playing with? Now, keep in mind, they're 11-0 in this building. Only went away from home, I think, twice.
Went to Florida State, lost. That's no shame in that. That's a top 20 team. Jordan Murphy coming in, averaging 10.5 a game and leading this team in rebounds with 7.7 rips a game. And he's 2 for 3 from the free throw line tonight.
Well, this is the chess match. You want to go inside to Ward, but every time he's touched it, he's getting double teamed.
Langford goes to the fellow freshman.
Here comes the double.
Left hand. And Nick Ward. The foul's going to be on the floor. Nick Ward's going to be shooting free throws since Michigan State's in the bonus.
When you watch Ward, Rich, and you watch the Minnesota defense, coaches will adjust when the double comes. Sometimes it'll come on the catch. Sometimes it'll come on that first bounce. Sometimes it'll come when the post player gets to the painted area.
Ward rattles home the first one. Had 24 points and 10 boards against Oral Roberts, 25 and 9 against Oakland. And his last 7 games, he's averaged just a shade under 16 a game.
Big 4 minutes for the Spartans. They want to get that lead down to 6 or 8, and for Minnesota, that should be a foul because it's a trip. It's automatically in the rule book.
Ward, look at the big man run the floor.
Yeah, I mean, a trip is a trip. A trip is a trip. And that's what Richard Pitino is saying. And it happens by accident. He didn't trip him on purpose, but it's a trip.
Right. Under 3.5 to go. Michigan State has cut the deficit to single digits. 5 on the shot clock. Coffee, left hand, yes.
I'll tell you what, he adds about 15 pounds. Not as big and thick as his dad was, but I hate to say it, he's way more skilled.
His sister Nia playing at Northwestern right now. There's Ward, aggressive to the hole. He'll go to the line when we come back with 2:57 to play in the first. And 1 on the season for Richard Pitino. It's been a great start, and they've done exactly what they've wanted to do, Fran. Drive the ball to the hole and get to the foul line.
Exactly. They're shooting 60% inside the arc. They've only attempted 4 threes, and you love the fact that they've shot 16 free throws. And by the way, every time they go to the line, it softens the Michigan State front line with foul trouble. And it's a thin front line as it is.
14 personal fouls for Tom Izzo's club in the first half. Ward 1 for 2. He has 7 tonight. And it's a 10-point game.
They have a blood issue. Go quickly, see if they can handle it quickly.
Welcome to the Big Ten.
Oh yeah, it used to be in the old days, no autopsy, no foul.
although you were with us at the consortium that we have every year up in Bristol for college basketball, Dan Dockich stood up and he said, this is not the same old Big Ten conference.
Well, it's not college basketball because we're trying to eliminate as much of the physicalness, the unnecessary physical play as possible. I think by and large it's been great. Scoring's up, flow of the game is better.
There's Mason with some nice flow of his own.
Yeah, we've been watching this kid since his freshman year, and confidence he's playing with right now. He's averaging 13 a game, shooting 45% behind the arc, and he's driving it. Nice shot fake.
McQuaid, he needed to see that one go down.
Sure did, and you see how they chase him off the line, and he took what the defense gave him.
Boy, Tom Izzo was really giving him an earful at practice, saying you have to elevate on your jump shot. You need to look for open spots on the floor to take your jumper.
That's right. That has to be a foul or a travel. It's got to be something.
McQuaid went down. They called the traveling violation on Minnesota as McBrayer checks back in, number 1 in goal.
I was in this league in the late 80s with Gary Williams at Ohio State. And Stephen Bardo, my good friend who played at Illinois back then, we counted one night in that league at the time. Boy, there's a lot. That's Kanate. Yeah. He may foul out before halftime. But we counted 26 NBA players in the league at that time. And it was a physical league. Yeah, I don't get Kanate because he's been here for 3 years. And he's basically, I mean, you could get 2 to 5 for that in New York State.
Kanate rhymes with karate. And Ward, a 56% free throw shooter, goes to the line, and that's one good thing for the Minnesota Golden Gophers. If they're going to send someone to the line from the Spartans, that's the guy to send.
Good point. Lynch has 2, so he's going to stay on the bench, and the freshman Curry back in.
Now Ellis checks back in for Tom Izzo.
Rich, I said this at the top. Coaching is the #1 job description of a college coach is crisis management coordinator. And when you look at what Richard Pitino went through last year and then in the offseason, where he had some issues off the court, I thought he did a great job coming into this year of managing the crisis.
Foul's going to go on Winston as McBrayer hits the deck. That's been a recurring theme in this first half.
Well, you notice those guards are not settling for jump shots. They've been impossible to guard going to the rim tonight.
Just 8 wins for Richard Pitino last year, 2-16 in conference. They already have 4 more wins than they had all of last year. And he told you yesterday, we just have to win our home games. If we win our home games, we'll be in good shape.
That's right. That's 9 wins. And you can't be intellectually lazy and say, well, 9-9 gets you in the tournament, because with an unbalanced schedule, a lot of it is dependent on who your 9 wins are versus. And certainly you want to go on the road and win some too.
Dupree McBrayer, the first Golden Gopher, the double digits. He has 10, and the lead is a dozen. Minute and a half to go. McQuaid, aggressive, but it's short.
I like that. Murphy thought he was open. McBrayer didn't want to take a chance.
Michigan State defense switching on everyone. And a big 3 from the freshman Coffey.
He kills you softly. Doesn't have the national name of some of the other guys, but he was a top recruit. He is a very efficient player. He's a great teammate. This time they give him a little space, little stop and pop, left-handed set shot. Great screen by the other freshman, Curry, who chose to come to Minnesota from Memphis because of his friendship on the AAU circuit with Amir Coffey.
Amir Coffey hitting just the second three-pointer of the night for Minnesota. They haven't needed the three-point shot because their dominance in the paint.
That's right. They've been attacking from the opening tip. Murphy scoring inside. Mason with the little floater off the glass. McBrayer's gotten to the rim. Coffey's gotten to the rim. And they have chosen to shoot the three with judiciousness and wisely.
39-24, largest lead of the night for the Golden Gophers against the Michigan State Spartans. A wounded Spartans team coming in. No Miles Bridges, the highly touted, much heralded freshman, who is the leading scorer and rebounder on this Spartans team.
Little 2-2-1 press, which you don't see very often. They usually go back to zone, and they do. They're giving Michigan State a look before halftime that they haven't seen for 19 minutes.
45 seconds left. Here's Ward. He has been the lion's share of this Spartans offense, Frank.
And they don't double team in the zone, so he was one-on-one right in the heart of the defense.
Ward with 9, but only 3 for 7 from the field. He's had to work hard for every field goal. About a 5-second differential between shot clock and game clock. What do you do here if you're Minnesota?
Well, they're going to isolate Coffey, and that's what they've run here.
5 to shoot. Murphy does. Too strong. 7 seconds left. Here's the guy you want the ball in the hands of, the fastest guy on the floor, Tum Tum Nairn. Looked good off his hand, but it fell off the mark. And that's been the story of the first half for Michigan State. It's been balanced scoring for Minnesota, who leads the Spartans by 13 at the break, 39-26. We now send you to Chris Cotter in the studios with Jay Will and Seth Greenberg for the halftime report. You add to that 13 free throws as well, and the Golden Gophers are in good shape. They're 10-1 this season when leading at the half, and they held Michigan State to their season low for a half. They go right back to their bread and butter, but came up short on the opening possession of this half.
Now, if you're Michigan State and you play through Ward, he's got to make his moves before the double comes or get it out quickly, and they have to find some open jump shots for guys like McQuaid. Watch the double come.
Nairn starting the second half after coming off the bench in the first. Ball's out of bounds, but now you see Tom Izzo's club starting to be a little more aggressive in the paint.
Well, there's no question in that locker room. You know, he said, look, if we're going down Michigan State style, and we need to attack the basket. But they still have to get some open looks for Ellis and McQuaid.
Ellis was the best shooter in the first half for him. Here's McQuaid, got it off, but it's off the mark.
Yeah, he's been challenged all night long.
Good transition defense from Ward, getting a hand on it. Good hustle by McQuaid.
Oh, look at the big guy.
Here he comes. Full head of steam for the freshman Wade, or Nick Ward rather. And he'll go to the line.
He's not the guy you want normally handling it, but great hustle by McQuaid and Ellis, and Ward took off down the court.
Michigan State, such a rich tradition of big men who could go coast to coast.
No, you like it. I mean, you love this kid's long-term potential. Remember, he's lost 35 to 40 pounds, and he's playing very, very well in the free throw shooting, the one Achilles heel.
They are now 4 for 11 from the free throw line tonight. Not getting there enough, not knocking them down when they do get there. 1 for 2. Ward's in double digits with 10.
You got Ellis, a senior, Nairn, a junior, starting this second half.
Here's Murphy. Offensive rebound, Curry. No, and Ellis comes away with it.
Great defense by Ward. He played vertically inside the arc.
Ellis has a shoe untied. He's trying to figure out when he can knot it up again. Jump stop. Got his own miss. And a fresh 30.
Yep.
and he knocks it down. Isn't that always the case? You lose a shoe, you untie your shoe, and you hit a jumper.
He was resting. You know what? They did a good job. They ran the offense to the right side. By the time they came back to him, he had everything taken care of with the shoe.
Now Ellis has 10. Murphy lost it. Tried to get it inside to Ward. It's out of bounds.
Yeah, Alvin Ellis, he's tying his shoelaces. He gets back into play, and watch the effort by Ellis. Comes up with his own miss, and no one picks him up. Yeah, and McQuaid, just not a great decision on that post feed.
McQuaid to the bench.
Now, if you're Minnesota now, you want to stay in attack mode. That's too easy to the rim.
Coffee, wild shot off the window, no. And here comes Nair. Harris hasn't gotten on track tonight either. Offense optional in the second half.
Oh, that's speed. That's speed. I'll tell you, when Tum Tum's healthy, you said it earlier, coast to coast, aren't many faster. The veterans are trying to get the Spartans back in this game. Harris, Nairn, Ellis.
See how Minnesota responds. Good save by Ward. Laying out on the baseline. Ellis. And all of a sudden, it's a 6-point game. You knew there'd be no quit in this Spartans team.
Absolutely, and you know, you always tell your team, we gotta win the first 3 minutes. Take a look. Sloppy play by Minnesota. Tum Tum from the Bahamas. Oh, the island's loving it.
And Ellis at the other end finishes it again.
Mark, I want to be up 18 or 19. I don't want to work for 20 minutes and get a 13-point lead and give it away. So the mindset to start the second half is critical. And now Minnesota has got to regain some momentum because Michigan State sliced into that 13-point advantage.
Golden Gophers start the second half 0 for 5 from the field and 3 turns. Let's see what Richard Pitino dials up out of a timeout. They go right back to pounding it inside and getting a foul called on the Spartans.
Yep, and Murphy is going to shoot too because they fouled him while he was tipping the ball. Great effort by Murphy. Coffee just got it up on the glass. And Jordan Murphy, the San Antonio native, with the hustle.
All Big Ten freshman last year. Worked really hard on his mid-range game coming into this season.
You know, Rich, when I know it sounds crazy, but you have to practice the first 3 minutes of the game and the first 3 minutes of the second half. You have to have a mindset that we're going to deliver the first blow when we come out in the second half. And Minnesota came out flat. And you don't want to squander what's been a really good first 20 minutes.
I know from talking to you, you said as a coach you used to script the first few plays. Is that something that
you
see here?
You not only, I don't know that they scripted them. You script the beginning of the game, but you definitely have to have a mindset. Hey, if we're up 10 or 12, let's be up 20 by the time we sit back down at the next TV timeout.
7 to shoot.
Look at this speed.
No, Murphy another rebound.
Michigan State is getting into the lane off the dribble. That's a good sign. That's too easy.
Nice take.
Yep.
Baseline for Coffee.
Yep.
He has a dozen.
Barnes never cut the baseline off and used it as a defender.
No Miles Bridges for Tom Izzo for the 6th straight game. And they struggle to score without him. 10 on the shot clock. Inside Van Dyke.
He's not going to look to score.
Nairn, top of the key. Yes!
Oh, that's big.
Big three-pointer from New Rawls, Tum Tum Nairn.
And remember, he gave up his starting spot for Winston the last couple of games.
And as fast as he is, Fran, he is that much better of a leader.
No question. And he started the second half. He's created a nice tone, knocking down the 3 ball.
Maryland ranked number 4 in Maryland. UConn has won 86 straight games. Maryland comes in ranked number 4. Back-to-back wins for Gino Auriemma against Big Ten teams coming in. Ohio State, Nebraska now looking to make it 3 straight.
Yep, but seniors Shatori Walker-Kimbrough, Brianna Jones get their, maybe not their final shot at UConn. They may see each other in the postseason, but Xfinity Center is sold out in College Park.
Coffee fouled in the act. He'll shoot 2.
But it's amazing what Gino's doing. You know, you lose all those great players, and now it's Katie Lou Samuelson, Gabby Williams, freshman Molly Brent's been giving them good minutes lately. Nafisa Collier, only a sophomore.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Sonia Chong.
Yeah.
Really the only leader back from that team, and yet they just, like every great program, like Tom Izzo, you don't rebuild, you reload.
What happens is, you know, winning's in their DNA. And so when you go to a place like Duke or Michigan State or UConn, you know, winning is part of the culture, and the expectations are so high that you come in having to try to meet them as a young player. Otherwise, you don't go there.
2 for 2 for Coffee. He has 14, and the lead's back up to 8 for the Gophers.
Let's see if the Gophers can get it back in double figures.
Here's Winston. Langford, he's been quiet. Josh Langford has his first bucket of the second half, a 2-pointer, 4 on the night for the freshman out of Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah, I think he's got great promise. I know the coaching staff feels that way. I had a chance to coach him at the Steph Curry Under Armour camp. Loved him.
Murphy, couple of spin moves, but he's walled up by Ellis and called for the foul.
Interesting. Both defenders tried to stay vertical, and Ted Valentine thought that Ellis came in and whacked him at the last minute. Watch them try to body straight up, and there you go. Easy call.
Yep.
Ted Valentine. Did I say Ted Ellis? Ted Valentine has made that call about 10,000 times,
right.
Maybe more.
I went on the court before the game to say hello to him, and he said, "Where's your partner? I've known him for 35 years."
That's true. I was a young assistant at Ohio University in the 80s, and he was a young official. And then in the Big Ten, we kind of grew up together, Rich, you know?
It's the first time I've heard you say something semi-nice about an official.
Oh, no. I'm telling you. Ever since I went to Big 12 officiating camp.
Right.
They get better every year I stop coaching. And by the way, they really do a good job.
Here's Springs from the corner.
That's big. And he's great off the bench. Fifth-year senior. Came in here last year with Milwaukee and beat the Gophers in that dismal 8-win season for Richard Pitino.
The lead is back up to double digits, and they're hearing it inside the barn.
Nice.
Great look from Winston to Van Dyke.
If you're Michigan State, you don't have to eat the elephant in all in one bite. You don't have to you don't have to cut into this lead all at once. Just play solid. Keep the ball out of the paint off the dribble would be a starting point.
Hesitation, Mason, and another foul is called. Well, they've been doing most of their damage inside the paint, but they can knock down a 3 if they need to.
Transition, right? Get back quick, get your feet set, and the delivery by Mason, and then little pick and roll on the other end, and take a look. Watch Van Dyke get open, 2 defenders. That's the freshman Curry, who doesn't have a lot of game experience guarding pick and roll right now. Over the course of time, he'll get better at that.
Nate Mason at the line. And now he's another Gopher in double digits. He has 10. Joining Coffee and McBrayer. Balanced scoring tonight for the Golden Gophers.
How about Richard Pitino told us today they tried to get Tyus Jones from Apple Valley to stay home. He was always going to go to Duke. Then they put their eggs right in Tum Tum Nairn's basket. He went to Michigan State. They ended up with Nate Mason, who's probably going to be best for them of the three because he's going to be around 4 years.
Not a bad consolation prize as he comes away with the weak side rebound. Good transition defense from the Spartans. Coming up on 13 minutes to go.
Again, Michigan State's got to keep the yellow jerseys out of the paint off the dribble.
Mason surveying. 5 to shoot. Inside Lynch. 2 feet in the paint. Left hand off the glass.
Well, Arn's got a handful there. It's not where he's accustomed to playing. Without Schilling, Carter, Bridges. Ward taking a break.
And check foul on Curry. Let's take a look at Minnesota doing what the Golden Gophers have done all night.
Yeah, and if you can't dribble it in there, just throw it in. Look how deep. He's got 2 feet in the paint. And I used to tell my perimeter guys, when you can see your teammates' front numbers on his jersey, you throw the ball in there. He's got 2 feet in the paint, and you got great look at that number 22.
Now a couple of freshmen trading out for one another. Coffey goes to the bench. Hurt comes in. They played high school ball together at Hopkins High School in Minnesota.
Great program, Hopkins.
Arns, no. And the Gophers getting some of that momentum back that they lost at the start of the half. Minnesota coming in 12-1, their best start in 4 years. And they're looking at a 7th straight win, biggest one this year by far if they could take down Michigan State tonight. Lynch. Not that time.
Got it deep again. He spun out.
There's a foul on the floor. 11:55 to go. A 12-point lead for Minnesota. And when we come back, Tom Izzo was part of an illustrious wedding party to remember. We'll give you the rest of that wedding party after this.
Coaching, when Tom Izzo was coaching, someone helped us. We got to know Tom when he was a teenager. Next thing you know, he's on Tom Izzo's staff, along with, he was on the staff of Judd Heathcote. And then he helped Tom Izzo build that Michigan State dynasty, really, before he left for Marquette. And time flies. We had a great time. Jimmy Christian, the coach of Boston College,
yeah, he was in
that
the background
picture
too.
as well. Paul Brazo, the assistant commissioner of the ACC. And I've known Tom Izzo for 36 years because we were young Division II assistants. Back in 1980, we met in the Elite Eight of Division II, New York Tech and Northern Michigan. We went up to Marquette, Michigan, and won on a buzzer beater. And little did I know he'd be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm here
you
with
ever
you.
let him forget that?
Well, you know, here's the thing about Tom Izzo. He hasn't changed. He is the same guy from Iron Mountain, Michigan, that he was 36 years ago.
Tremendous.
No ego.
Tremendous.
I mean, you saw the time he spent with us the last couple of days. And by the way, Jim Harbaugh was every bit as competitive on the golf course that day as he is right
He
now.
almost missed the wedding because of that. McBrayer with his first 2 of the second half. He has 12. And in case you hadn't heard the story, the reason the Harbaugh brothers were in the wedding party is because Tom Crean married their sister. So now he's a Harbaugh as well. And I guess everybody's question, since you don't see the bottom half of Jim Harbaugh's body,
Yeah.
is he wearing khakis in this picture?
No, he wasn't.
No?
No. But I do know this. Tom Crean was not golfing that day. He was getting ready for the wedding. We were playing golf, and we had to be back by 5. Well, we get to 18 holes, right? There's 8 of us. We don't have a winner yet. It's all squared. Jim Harbaugh wouldn't let us leave until we had a winner. And Mrs. Harbaugh was furious that we got back late. And you see the sunburn I got?
I was just going to say, he had some rosy cheeks back then.
It's amazing. And the thing about Tom Crean that you love is he has always surrounded himself with great coaches that he can rely on. Both of these guys don't have all the answers, and they have a lot of resources they can go to. And both of them love college football, by the way. Izzo and Tom Crean.
11 minutes to go. Minnesota's led from virtually the opening tip. Orange comes away with it.
Watch the speed.
Nairn blows past everyone and goes off the window. 9 points for Tum Tum Nairn.
Remember, you can't eat the elephant in one bite. You got to eat it in small bites. So you just want to get a stop in a basket. Get it to 7. Get it to 5. Lots of time.
Coffee with 10 on the shot clock. He hangs. The foul's called, but he can't drop the bucket. So Amir Coffee will go to the line and shoot 2.
And watch, this is raw speed right here. Tum Tum Nairn, the young man out of the Bahamas. Watch how fast he is. That's quick.
Of course, Tum Tum went to Sunrise Christian Academy in Kansas. Same school that produced Buddy Hield.
Yep. Both came out of the Bahamas. They were spotted at a showcase. Ended up in Wichita.
Now Kyle Lindstedt, who headed up that program, is an assistant on Greg Marshall's staff.
Makes sense.
At Wichita State.
A team that Michigan State beat in
That's right.
the Bahamas earlier. It's an amazing schedule Michigan State has played. They've got losses to Duke, Kentucky, Arizona, all when they played them were in the top 10. Of course, Duke and Kentucky still rolling.
Ball almost goes out of bounds. Harris saves it. Great effort by the Spartans.
If you're going to pass it into Ward, you got to get below the foul line extended.
Halfway through the second half. Short on the 3. Foul's going to be on the floor. We're talking about Tom Izzo and all his incredible success in East Lansing. Before Big Ten play in the Tom Izzo era, I mean, you almost never lose.
Well, they play such a great schedule. You know, 2 years ago they had 11 losses heading into the NCAA tournament. They ended up in the Final Four, won 27 games. You know, the interesting thing about the schedule, it's not that he, you know, when he complained about the schedule a few weeks ago, it wasn't about the opponents. It was the 13,000 miles, and they had no time to practice.
Right. From Hawaii to New York, here's a chance at a three-point play.
And because of the penetration, they weren't getting that in the first half, and Tum Tum has done a really good job of getting into the paint. Yeah, and it's not, again, you know, and we talked about this yesterday. He'll play anybody anywhere. You don't turn down going to Pearl Harbor, and then you got to fly to the Champions Classic, and then you got to play in the Bahamas. But with a young team, they had no time to practice.
Right.
Plus all the injuries.
Tom was prophetic at the start of the season before the injuries mounted up. He said we could play really well and lose to Arizona. We could play really well and lose to Duke. Little did he know they would.
Well, that's a good repost. Good job by McBrayer throwing it back in.
Coffee left hand. No.
Watch the speed.
Nairn.
Yep. How about that?
Tum Tum Nairn, not known for his offense, averaging only 3.3 a game. He already has 9 tonight, and he's going to the line to try to add to that.
You know, it's like in football. He runs faster than you can backpedal. So if you don't sprint back to the paint, he's going to get by you. And the problem, Rich, is some of these coast-to-coast plays have come out of long rebounds.
Free throw woes are mounting. The Spartans are 6 for 15 tonight as a team. Nairn 1 for 2. He has 10. It's an 8-1 Michigan State run to get themselves back in it to within 7.
It's a mismatch, and Murphy's trying to get inside.
Get it to him with 10 on the shot clock.
Nice.
Extra pass. Swatted out by Ellis. And now 3 to shoot. Coffee from just inside half court almost knocked it down.
Watch the speed.
Nairn. Oh, that's pinned by Murphy. And a little extra stare on top of it.
Block party in the barn tonight, both ends. Take a look, watch this. Great interior passing. Watch the shot block by Ellis. And then the speed of Nairn gets neutralized by Jordan Murphy.
Off the catch, a two-hand jam for Ward. 14 for Nick Ward to lead the Spartans.
Richard Pitino thought there was a little extracurricular on that last screen. That's how Harris got open, was able to pass it.
A 2-possession ball game now. 8 minutes to go. And a traveling violation by McBrayer. We have a timeout on the floor. Richard Pitino and the Golden Gophers only up by 5.
Minnesota's gone cold, and now the pressure is on Minnesota at home in a game they're supposed to win, and a game they've had that double-digit lead. So let's see how they respond.
We talked about role reversal at the top of this telecast. It's been a role reversal from the first half to the second half.
Oh, he had Tum Tum open on that cut. Goins, understandably, didn't want to force it.
Chance to make it a 1-possession ball game, 15 on the shot clock. Here's Winston. Pass first point guard. Nairn with 5. Ellis knocks it down.
Great possession by Michigan State. Nairn didn't force it. Winston didn't force it. And then with the dribble into the lane. Good kick out.
15 for Ellis. It's a 13-1 run for Michigan State. And we have a 2-point ball game.
Remember, the clock was going down, Rich. They didn't force a tough shot. There's the end of the play. The drive and the kick out. And the open look.
That's one of the benefits of Tom Izzo putting 2 point guards on the floor at the same time.
It's a great point. Yep. Co-pilots.
Winston and Nairn. And Nairn was the one who got it to Ellis, who knocked down the 3 to make it just a 2-point ball game. Here's the sophomore McBrayer at the line. And he missed it. A 3 gives Michigan State the lead. Seven minutes to go.
Second time they've had Tum Tum on that little curl cut. But Goins didn't want to force it.
Look at Ellis, aggressive.
Well, you're right, Rich. The 2 point guards really spread the defense out, and that allowed Ellis, who can shoot the 3, to drive the closeout.
Lynch tried to force it inside, and the foul's called.
You made the point, when you have the 2 point guards who can really drive it, watch the closeout, and there's the room to get to the rim by Ellis, who has been sensational in the second half.
And the bench is feeling it. Michigan State's last lead was 6-5 with 16:43 to go in the first half. Amir Coffey is at the line. He has 16 tonight to lead the Gophers. And now it looks like Tom Eads is going to huddle up at the scorer's table.
Tom Izzo has gone to a 4-guard lineup. 2 shooters in Ellis and Harris, and the 2 point guards.
Tom Izzo wisely calls his Spartans over. It's almost like a free timeout at this point. And now Tom Eads, as soon as they huddle up, he calls them back out on the floor.
And they wanted to make sure Coffey was the intended foulee, and he was. Well, as long as you go to the monitor, take advantage of it, and that's what both coaches did. You mentioned Coffey coming from Hopkins High School, a school that produced Chris Humphreys, among others, Royce White. Siani Chambers was having a terrific year at Harvard. And this young man who shoots almost 80% from the line.
6 for 7 tonight from the charity stripe. You mentioned Humphreys. He had the freshman record for most points in a game until Coffey tied him 30 points earlier this year against St. John's. And those 2 free throws give Minnesota back a 2-point lead. Ellis feeling it. Not that time. And Coffey leads the break. Nice look. Murphy collected the puppies and got fouled. And if that's on Kenny Goins, he's done for the night.
Really good interior passing. It started with Mason inside. And take a look at Murphy. Watch the dime drop right there. Murphy's going to stay with it. There's the first miss. And then right across the arm, Ted Valentine right there.
So Kenny Goins fouls out, scoreless tonight. And foul trouble has plagued the Spartans this entire evening. What's Tom Izzo telling his bunch right now?
You know what? Stay with it. It's a one-possession game, and we're fine. We've climbed back in it. Just continue to run your offense. He's got the 4 guards, and now he's got Ward inside.
And Murphy can't knock down the first. Six of the top 10 players in Richard Pitino's rotation are underclassmen.
What did Michigan State, what was the last thing they worked on today, Rich, at the shoot-around? Free throw blockout, right? Defensive blockout on the free throws. Tom Izzo's special teams. Is a double coming?
Ward in the paint.
How about that?
16 for the freshman Ward, tied up again at 57.
The double was not there, and he was ISO'd, one-on-one.
Gut check time for both clubs.
See, Michigan State can basically switch anytime they want, because they're playing the 4 guards.
Coffey with 5 on the shot clock, a foul called underneath, and it's going to go on Minnesota.
Watch this now. Remember we said earlier, when do you come on the double team? It looked like they waited for him to dribble it. Ward's going to catch it. He's going to wait. You see, the double's not going to come into the dribble. And what does Mason do? He doubles from the wrong side.
Both teams in the bonus. Minnesota in the double bonus. So it's a 1-and-1 situation for Alvin Ellis. And the senior calmly knocks down the first free throw. 18 for Ellis, and it's their first lead since they led 6-5 early in the first half.
Rich, what's Minnesota done all night? They've driven the ball, right? Well, when you go to 4 guards now, you can switch at a lot of different spots and try to keep the ball in front of you, and this helps Michigan State.
Tremendous opening night of Big Ten basketball for Minneapolis.
Oh, good split.
Mason, yes.
Yep.
That's clutch from Nate Mason.
Sure was, and a good read because Ward moves his feet well. He came with the hard hedge, and Mason split it.
Listen to the crowd.
Watch the double come on the dribble. How about
Ward
this kid?
again, and the foul.
How about this kid? How about this freshman in this house? Again, Mason's late because he's not coming until the ball is dribbled. And by the time he comes, it's too late. So what you've got to decide now if you're Richard Pitino, do you come on the catch because he's in a rhythm off the one dribble?
Nick Ward has been sensational in the second half. Had 9 points in the first half, 4 field goals now in the second half.
This is a freshman who lost 40 pounds since he arrived in East Lansing. And I talked to some of the players today. They said he was a little immature, didn't understand hard work. It took a while, but what we're watching is the metamorphosis of a very good young college big man.
Tom Izzo likened him to a poor man's Zach Randolph.
I'll take it. That's a compliment.
Struggling from the free throw line.
Okay, again, how does Minnesota get inside of this switching defense?
Mason guarded by Nairn. And the foul is going to go on Tum Tum.
See, I feel this way about a guy like Nate Mason. You don't have to ball screen for him all the time, especially with Michigan State in the bonus. Just give him room to drive it, and he's good enough to get by most on-ball defenders he'll see.
He's 4 for 4 from the line tonight, 74% on the season. Tonight on ESPN after the Cactus Bowl at SportsCenter at night with Neil Everett. He'll have highlights from all the bowl games as well as NBA, NHL, college hoops, NFL news, and everything else from Tuesday. SportsCenter at night after Boise State Baylor on ESPN. 15 for Mason. 61-60 Golden Gophers.
You got a couple of jump shooters now you can augment the big fellow with.
McRae got away with a push away from the ball.
Where's the double?
10 on the shot clock. Into Ward. Splits the double team.
How about that? How about that? If you're Nate Mason, you got to get your chin in there so he can't get by you.
Nick Ward, a game-high 20.
You know how hard that is to score in there? We watch young big kids all season long. They can't score if they were in the gym by themselves. And he's seeing good defense.
Playing like a veteran. Mason. No. 3:25 to go.
I got it. You know, I talk jump shots. What am I talking about? I thought maybe Ellis or Harris.
Back inside to Ward. There's the double.
And there's the single.
Now he spins right.
Look at this.
He is on fire.
Oh, man. He went against the grain and away from the double to the baseline.
Now the block by Ward. Out of bounds. It'll stay Minnesota ball. He had 25 last time out against Oakland. He has 22 tonight in his Big Ten premiere.
Hey, Izzo. Poor man Zach Randolph. Poor man. I'd say a facsimile. Woo! Are coming late. They're coming from different angles, and he's going against the grain. The double comes middle, he's spinning baseline. It comes baseline rich, he's going middle.
And I hate to say this, but I'm not so sure that a good strategy would be just foul him before he shoots.
Well, I think what you got, if they were coming on the dribble.
Coffee, wild shot, no. Curry, the offensive rebound, and he'll go to the line.
That's a good foul inside. Put the freshman on the line. I'm going to be interested on the Michigan State end to see if Richard Pitino makes the adjustment and just comes hard as soon as big fellow Ward catches it. Because they're allowing him to get into a rhythm with that one dribble and get to the basket before that second defender comes.
Curry, the freshman, showing some poise. He's 3 for 3 from the line. The Spartans are 4 for their last 4 field goals, contrasting Minnesota, who is 1 for their last 10. But they're knocking down their free throws.
Absolutely. And a nice job by Curry.
It's white knuckle time in Minneapolis.
Minnesota has played 98% man-to-man defense this season.
Inside Ward.
Canate on him now. They made a change. That's a foul. See, that's a foul. The way the rules are adjudicated this year, that is too much contact.
Canate is out there with 4 fouls already.
He had the bar on, which is fine, but you can't shove off. If I'm Ward now and I get it deep, I pump fake a little bit. Canate will bite. If I'm Canate, I just play straight up and make him shoot over me.
There's the tallest player on the floor, 6'11".
He's got to be cerebral.
Winston, left hand. First points of the night for Cassius Winston.
Where was the concentration of the defense? On the big fella.
A 3-point Spartans lead, 2 minutes left. Minnesota led by 13 at the break. The bump, no foul called, but Nate Mason got it to go.
Hey, give them credit. They're letting both teams play.
Big Ten basketball,
yes,
Brad.
sir. Yes, sir.
And with 1:36 to go, Tom Izzo uses his one of 3 remaining timeouts. 66-65, Michigan State with the lead and the ball.
Let's watch Nick Ward. I talked about him being cerebral for a young coach player. Watch him read the defense 3 different times. The first time the ball's going to go in and the double is a little late, and you see Mason goes the wrong way, so Ward goes middle. Then Mason comes on the double, and he splits it and gets to the rim. The last time, it looks like Mason's going to come middle. He goes away from the double and spins baseline. That, I got to tell you, Rich, for a young player with his experience, to be able to do this is not easy. And a credit to him and the coaching staff.
Double figures in his last 8 games. He's averaged about 16 a game in the last 7, and he's only 3 points shy of a career high. Now, 22 tonight.
Yep. Tom Izzo calls these type of situations special teams. He's got an inbounds play on the side. He's got 20 on the shot clock, and they need a great shot right here.
And he's got 3 freshmen on the floor, Fred.
Yes, and Minnesota needs to be rock solid.
Langford. In and out. That was halfway down.
I'll tell you what, a great look. It sure was. Small lineup for Michigan State, so they can switch if necessary. This is going to be high pick and roll.
Mason. McGrayer, shot fake, wide open. Can't get it to go, and Harris rebounds.
I would use clock here. That's right. Tom Izzo said slow it up.
1 minute left.
Both teams have 2 timeouts. Possession arrow, Michigan State.
Harris blocked by Canate. Mason. And the foul's going to go on Michigan State. Fran, you want players on the floor who want the ball at game time.
What I love about that is their half-court offense in the last 5 minutes hasn't been great. So what Mason did was, the defense wasn't set. He used his speed to push it, and he did.
And that foul called on Cassius Winston means he's done for the night. The second Spartan to foul out. 66-65. These 2 teams very familiar playing games that are close down the stretch. 2 of the last 3 between these 2 have got to overtime.
And I got nothing to do. We both got early flights, but I don't mind losing a little sleep. Do you?
I'll hang out in the barnyard for another 5 or 10 minutes. Mason steps to the line, hasn't missed from the stripe tonight. For Nate Mason.
Now, I don't think Tom Izzo will do this, but they could go 2 for 1 here. But that shot has to be up quickly. It's got to be up by 38. And more times than not, a coach is going to get the best shot they can, regardless of the clock here.
In and out. tie game.
Got a couple timeouts left.
Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining.
And he's going to use it.
And now Tom Izzo, the Dean of Big Ten coaching, will gather his troops.
It's not bad strategy. It takes a lot of guts and usually a long-term contract. Okay? So what I would do, maybe what I would do here is double hard quickly before the dribble, and if you foul, that you're okay with that because of the poor free throw shooting.
Michigan State is 8 for 19 from the stripe.
Rich, watch Coffee. He's a long drink of water on the ball. Okay.
Here's Nair.
Double away.
And the foul's going to be on Mason. Quick foul, not a lot of time off the clock. 28.3 to go. And we're tied at 66. Michigan State came in here almost a year ago to the day and beat a Minnesota team 69-61.
You know, the question is who got fouled, because it was Harris coming off the double.
And look at what Nair's doing. Nair's walking Ward all the way to the other side of the floor.
Yep.
Crafty move by Tum Tum Nair, trying to keep Nick Ward away from the free throw line.
Yeah, the foul was off the ball, and it was on the screeners. So let's take a look. Oh, it's gonna be the big fella.
Yeah.
Yep, it's gonna be Ward.
That's got to be Ward going to the free throw line, and as we mentioned just a moment ago, he's 4 for 12 there tonight.
Which is really a mirror of what he shot this year from the line, where he struggled.
This is a Michigan State team that is currently last in the Big Ten collectively free throw shooting, only 62% as a team. But they have shot the ball exceptionally well in the second half.
So if you're Ward right now, you're thinking, I just want to make the first one. Remember, it's a 1-and-1.
No good. 25 seconds left. Who do you think they go to, Fred?
Well, it's going to be some sort of high pick and roll. It's going to be the ball in Mason's hands, and Richard Pitino looks like he's not going to call timeout. Watch Ward. He's got to be solid on the ball screen. If it's me, I don't know that I ball screen.
Here's Coffee. 7 seconds. 5. Coffee for the win. No. Saved by Konate. And we've got free basketball from the barn in Minneapolis. The third time in the last 4 meetings between these two programs that we will be playing overtime basketball in the Big Ten. We'll have that overtime session for you right after this. Michigan State came in here #1 in the country. Similar to them missing Miles Bridges tonight, they were missing Denzel Valentine last year, and they walked out of the barn with a win. Mason had 16 in that game. Tonight he's been leading the Gophers with 18.
Remember, no more Cassius Winston, no more Kenny Goins. Reggie Lynch is fouled out. Number of guys with 4 fouls.
Opening tip of overtime goes to the Gophers. Minnesota looking for their 7th straight win. They would start the season 13-1 with a victory here. A win tonight on the road in the Big Ten. A huge shot in the arm for the injury-plagued Spartans. Here's McBrayer. Around and out. Konate the offensive rebound. Lost it out of bounds. It's Michigan State basketball.
Konate's got 4, but if you're Tom Izzo and you go to Nick Ward, The problem is if Canate fouls out, Ward goes to the foul line. That's not probably in Michigan State's an advantage right now.
Here's a three. Ellis, no. And Ted Valentine says Dupree McGrayer landed with the ball out of bounds, so it'll be Michigan State basketball in a fresh 30.
Four-guard lineup has really done wonders for Michigan State. That's a dangerous play.
Murphy tipped it out of bounds. That's the second time that's happened off the underneath out of bounds play.
See, Murphy has to guard a guard, but he has the advantage of having a little bit of length on Ellis. Tom Izzo, set play guy, making all the calls from the sideline.
He's calling it 4 down if you read his lips. 4 minutes to go. Langford almost lost it. He recovered and got the hoop.
It's tricky because Ward sets the screen, and you don't want to leave Ward because Langford would have dumped it off. That's what we call a wide pin down.
Here's a three. Off the mark. Murphy got fouled after he grabbed the offensive rebound.
Now the problem you have if you're Michigan State with the 4 guards is Murphy's a horse. So Ellis is doing everything he can to get him off the glass. But that's Murphy's specialty.
Jordan Murphy is 8th in the conference in rebounds, and nothing's going to change that after tonight. He has 20 boards tonight, Fran.
But if you're Michigan State, you have really no options. Because on offense, this group has really done a good job.
Well, that's one of the rarest double-doubles you'll see. 10 points, 20 boards. And we're tied at 68. A minute and a half gone by in the OT.
Here comes that pin down again.
Harris had a good look. And Murphy with rebound number 21. And wouldn't you know it, the last Minnesota Golden Gopher with 20 rebounds, Richard Coffey, Amir's dad.
How about that? Oh, that's toughness right now. But what a game. You know, you wonder if Ward's going to get a touch, even though he's a poor foul shooter. There you go.
Good hands by McGrayer.
Got to go. Don't have time to throw it to him now. Tum Tum's got to make a play.
To shoot. Calls his own number. Big buckets.
Smart. Because when Ward caught it in the corner, there was only 9 on the shot clock, so they didn't have time to repost him. And Tum Tum, you talk about leadership. They've talked about it from the day he got to Michigan State. They tried to go inside. The ball was deflected. Ward was smart enough to get rid of it. Take a look now. Clock's going down. And you see Mason backing up.
Ties a career high for Lou Rawls' Tum Tum Nair. His second three-pointer of the night. Maybe one of the biggest shots of his collegiate career.
You know, can't think of many bigger. And he's improved that outside shooting this year. Shooting over 40%.
71-68. Both teams double bonus. Possession arrow to Michigan. Both teams have 2 timeouts remaining with 2:22 to go.
You know, Rich, I got to say, Rich, think about it. This started the first 3 minutes of the second half. And if you're coaching out there, you have to practice the first 3 minutes of the second half. Because when you're up 13, you tell your team, look, I want to punch these guys in the mouth, figuratively, and I want to be up 16 or 17 at the next break. Michigan State fought back early in the half, and they made it a game.
Minnesota led by 13 at the break. Great take by Murphy, and a chance at a three-point play.
Smart, 4 guards, right? Ellis has been trying to hang in overtime and then down the stretch, and he can't. That's a mismatch. Good recognition by Richard Pitino.
That's just the 7th made field goal in the second half in OT for the Golden Gophers. Credit the ratcheted up defense from Tom Izzo Spartans, certainly.
Let's watch the block out. They practiced it, you know. Coaches, these are the little things that keep you in games. These are fouls. Now listen, these officials have done well tonight. They have to call that.
Nairn pull up short. And Murphy and Kanate. Hey guys, your teammates. Fighting for the ball. Here's Coffey for 3.
Good.
Kanate! First bucket of the game for the big man. The barn is bananas.
I think this would be a good time for a timeout right here.
Harris.
Nice.
That's a veteran move.
Yep, sure was. Harris had the jump shot. It would have been contested. I thought Kanate fouled, and if he did, he'd be out of the game by now. But credit Michigan State, they've played on. This is fun. Both ways. See, if you're Kanate right now, don't foul him if you're Ward.
Wild pass. 8 on the shot clock. McBrayer swallowed up and fouled. And McBrayer looks like he might have hit his head on the way down. Well, the good news is he's up off the floor.
He's a 72% foul shooter coming in. Good hard foul right there, so he doesn't get the 2. Make him earn it. Again, Michigan State's got to be good on the defensive block out. It's their jump ball. They have a couple of timeouts left.
Dupree McBrayer, 6'5" sophomore out of Queens, New York.
Out of the New Heights AAU program. They got a terrific guard coming in next year, Isaiah Washington, out of St. Raymond's, a dynamic scoring point guard.
Got it. Gophers 1-point lead. 30 seconds left. And Tom Izzo, very strategic in when he wanted that timeout called. Why was that, Frank?
I think he just wanted to get over half court. He's got the whole shot clock now down to 20 and 23-8, basically the same thing. What he's got to do right here is he's got to remind his team that we need the first good shot and we have time to crash the offensive glass, but they don't have to force a shot. Now, what they've done in going away from Ward, because they may be worried about him being fouled and then having to make his free throws, is they're screening down for Ellis and Harris, and it's a 2-man game. So if the big guy shows on the screen, Ward may be open on the slip. If he's not open, there's a chance Harris and Ellis are going to be open for a shot or a drive into the mid-range.
You told me earlier that Richard Pitino runs 98% man. What's he going to do on this possession?
Well, the key now is, first of all, Michigan State's got to get the ball inbounds, and they put some length on the inbounder. So what Minnesota will do is be rock solid, and they will switch some equal-sized players. If there's a scoring chance by Michigan State, they'll try to take it away. I think this is going to be wide pin downs, and you see where Harris is in the corner and Langford.
You're exactly right. Only 3 seconds between the shot clock and the game clock.
Pick and roll.
Ellis lost it. Foul called. with 10.6 left. This feels like a late February game, Fran, but it's only the first game of the Big Ten schedule. Why is this so crucial for both teams?
Well, Minnesota, in order to get to the postseason in the NCAA tournament, they have to win their home games, and this would be a quality win. For Michigan State, they're totally in survival mode until Miles Bridges gets back. They're 8-5. If they can steal this game on the road, it'll be a great feather in their cap when they get Bridges back, likely next week.
There's Miles Bridges, who you talked about, relegated to top cheerleader on the Spartans bench. And here's the foul.
Little head fake, and Mason just reaches in. That's one of those errors of omission. Instead, you don't want to foul a guy right there when you're just reaching in.
And now Mason has 4 fouls. 10.6 to go.
Now, I think Richard Pitino took that timeout, and I'll be interested to see if he's icing Ellis and already has a play to come down in the event it's tied or they're down 1.
Alvin Ellis has 18. It's a career high for the senior out of Madison, Illinois. Now 19. And you see the freshman Curry entering the game for Konate.
Key for Michigan State, if there's a miss or make, is get 5 green jerseys to the paint. If you're Minnesota on the miss or make, and you're going to push it, be on the attack to the paint.
Ellis for the lead. Got it. And Tom Izzo just gave a primal scream to his troops as they huddled up. Michigan State a 1-point lead after trailing by 13 at halftime. How did we get here, Frank?
Well, they never would have got to overtime, the Spartans, without this young guy, Nick Ward, the freshman from Gahanna, Ohio. And then Amir Coffey with a chance to win it. We go to overtime. And then I'll tell you what, how about Tum Tum Nairn? Big 3 in overtime. This gave Michigan State the lead. They came right back to Gophers, and we've been in a seesaw down the stretch, Rich Hollenberg.
It's been a fun one. It's had all the intensity that we anticipated, a near capacity crowd inside Williams Arena. The barnyard has been booming all night, and it looked like they were on their way to a relatively easy victory, although no win's easy against the Tom Izzo coach club, and a 7th straight win. But Michigan State, no quit, came all the way back from 13 down, and now with 10.6 seconds left in overtime, Minnesota's going to have to go the length of the floor.
And Michigan State has 5 guards out. I think Minnesota's going to get into the paint.
Mason with
There's
the ball.
Switch.
3 seconds. Mason had to force it. No! And Michigan State comes from 13 down at half to pull off the upset win. A huge win and a consummate team effort by the Spartans.
That's called winning DNA, my friend. DNA, winning championship DNA by Tom Izzo's club.
Nick Ward led the way with 22. Alvin Ellis chipped in with 20 and 2 huge free throws to give them the lead with 10 seconds remaining. But Minnesota had a chance. They had to go the length of the floor in 10.6. Did they get the shot they wanted?
No, I'll tell you why. Tom Izzo put 5 guards out there, and he switched everything, and a great job by McQuaid to keep Mason out of the lane.
So our final score from Minneapolis, Michigan State pulls off the win in OT, 75-74 for Fran Fraschilla. I'm Rich Hollenberg. Now we send you to SportsCenter.
Let's go, Alex. Let's go.